All right, so what did we learn that we can do in batch files? What did you guys figure out?
You can upgrade your program to use a different directory.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so you can change where a program's putting its information. What did you do with that CD?
No, I made a portable Minecraft on my flash drive, and I would redirect the Minecraft launcher to use the file on my flash drive and the job on my flash drive.
Hell yeah. Very nice. Very cool. What else did you guys learn about batch files? What else can you do? So far I think I know that I can start stuff. And actually, conveniently, right, that's the command you use, is start. Cool. So I know I can start stuff. I can mark places. Like I could mark a spot in the code and then cause it to go back to that. How did you do that? What was your name again? Sorry.
Me?
No.
Jared?
Jared. How did you do that?
I just did loop.
Yeah, how'd you do it? What did you type?
The thing that's about the semicolon, loop, go to notepad, and then go to loop.
Yeah, so if you call a spot something, the way you call a spot is with a colon, right? So you say, okay, this is a spot I want to remember. So you tag a spot, and then you call that tagged spot whatever the heck you want. So you called it loop. I think when I wrote this in my office, I called it S for spot, but whatever. Like, it doesn't matter at all. And then if you want to get back there, you do go to, right? And that'll loop this thing back through the code that's in the middle. So the easiest one of these that I think of, at least, like my default crash.bat, is just a colon and something like S, and then start. And what do I want to start?
S. Crash.bat.
I want to start this thing again, right? So what that's going to do is make this thing called a, and I found this out yesterday after researching this. This thing's called a fork bomb.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so no. As we're learning, Chris's pipe version of crash.bat does in fact seem effective. It takes time, but it is effective. I don't even know what the hell that error is. So, in the grand scheme of things, after you've tried the push the power button down, right? Which is how I got to here. Like, power button? Not.
Oh,
Yes! So, the order for computers, right, are try a soft restart, like tell the software to restart. Press the power button for a second, it'll try to shut down. If that fails, hold the power button down, and then what is your option of last resort?
turn off the
power
supply.
Turn off the power supply. I would prefer, yeah, sure, you could unplug it, you could turn off the surge strip. Like, physically disconnect power somehow. This is actually a job. You guys know this? There's a word for this job. The Axeman. You know where this comes from? This was actually a dude. So up in the Willamette Valley, Tri-Cities, up in Washington, there's an experimental nuclear reactor. It was one of the first nuclear reactors in the United States, and there was actually a job called the Axeman. It was a guy, a Marine, whose job was to stand in the corner with an axe. And if things started to go bad, he was supposed to cut a cable or a rope or some damn thing that was going to submerge the reacting rods into the pool. Right, so his job was actually to stand there, and if people started to panic, he just like chops the rope and everything crashes into this big pool of water and hopefully cools off. So, your Axeman, right, is the power strip on the back, or if you've got big battery backups, which happens in some places, right, you want to know where those cutoff switches are, because if you do something stupid to a giant software system, like you want to know how to shut it off, right? Okay. So, what did I need to do after I started crash.bat to get back to my beginning? Yeah, now I need a marker for a go-to. And you just put an S, and that'll kick it back, right? And so this thing is going to run once. It's going to start another copy of itself. And then what are each of those going to do? Yeah, they're each going to run again, right? And they're going to each start another copy of themselves. And then all of those are going to run again. You guys see that?
Okay. So this one doesn't stop at the end of the code. It just keeps going.
Yeah, so that original window is still going to be open. And actually, it was Jared, right?
Yeah.
And Jared's crash.bat doesn't actually quite work like this. His is actually a little bit slicker because he can stop his. Right? He didn't have to shut his computer down to get it to stop. He had a slicker way. Anybody guess what it was?
Pause.
No. He changed one thing in my crash.bat, and I think it's an improvement, at least for the demonstration in class.
Do you limit the maximum number of processes?
No, but that's actually how you get around a fork bomb in general. So these computers obviously don't have that list. They have a maximum number of processes that you can run, but good administrated Linux systems, they always have what's called a user limit. And so for a non-root user, like somebody who doesn't own the system, you can't run more than, say, 30 processes at a time. So if you're, specifically for you, Manya, if you go to a four-year and you're running code on like distributed systems, and you run into problems with getting code to execute, sometimes it's that they have a user limit, and your code is calling up more processes than that. Sometimes they're ridiculously low. Like in undergraduate labs, sometimes they'll set them at 5. Right? Just to keep people from accidentally doing stuff like this and crashing. But what's a better thing right here? I'll give you a clue. It's right here, so you can stop it. Oh, and Jared, put there.
Like a warning?
No, easier. All right, Jared, tell him.
Notepad.
Yeah, you just had it start Notepad. You guys see that? Because then if he wants to stop it, what happens?
He just stops crash.bat and notepads don't do anything.
Yeah, there's that one window still open, right? Like the original looping window is open. Click close. Then what's it going to do?
Stop.
Not open any more notepads, right? And then what can you do?
Very slowly delete or cancel all of the notepads and command.
So close. Windows is even better.
You can right click the
Yeah, you can close a stack
Oh,
of
close
things
all.
in the most modern Windows. So you just right click on the stack of notepad files that's down in that taskbar, and there's a close all windows button. Cool. You guys kind of with that? Anybody do anything like different? Not this? Like I saw a start a web page in the middle. Cameron had a start a web page.
I tried.
Yeah, and it wasn't working, right?
Yeah, it was that.
I tried
Yeah, and I
playing-
suspect that's because your bat file was closing itself. So it would, hers was open a web page and then open another instance of itself. But it didn't have a go back to the beginning. And so it wasn't open long enough for the window to actually open. Like Microsoft Internet Explorer would start and then close.
Yeah, I wasn't grasping the whole how to do the loop thing or with the colon.
Yeah, that's
I
okay.
wasn't grasping that.
Anybody else? What did you do?
I didn't do a loop, I just made it start 2 instances of itself and keep it paused open.
Perfect. That's a decent way to do it. So how did you execute that? What did you write?
I just did 2 lines of starting the same bash file. And
So
then
you did-
pause afterwards.
A start crash.bat, a start crash.bat, right?
And pause.
And then a pause. What's the pause do?
It just keeps the window open.
What's it ask for?
It asks for any input.
Yeah, it asks you. It's the press any key command.
Yep.
I bet you guys have seen that, right? You've seen that in installers or something, like press any key to continue. It's not so common anymore, but it used to be pretty common. And what was the reasoning behind that? Like, why would you want to pause?
See what's going on, so that doesn't just close immediately.
Yeah, so in this instance specifically, you want to keep them open so they eat up a little bit of RAM. Right? Like in general, why would you want to program to pause? Yeah, with laptops at least, you'd want your user to like take a second, check whether it's plugged in or not. Nowadays, Windows Update just won't start until the laptop is plugged in. But back in the day, these things used to echo something, like they used to say something, like, "Hey, dude, check your power connection. Make sure you have a stable internet connection before you start this, because if it stops halfway through your phone, right?" And then there'd be a press any key to continue. Cool. Anybody learn anything different? Bat file land here?
So play starts an MP3 file on whatever Groove is.
It's Microsoft iTunes.
Yeah, so my guess is that if you use the appropriate command to open the appropriate type of file, there's probably a whole bunch of defaults.
Right.
Right.
So play opened up the file, and the point was to get it to open up a new, like, I thought it would be Windows Media Player for sure. And I figured
One would think, yeah.
every time that it started, it would open up a new instance of Windows Media Player and play this sound. So not only is your computer bogging down, but now you're getting really annoying sound thrown at you. And it didn't work because it only opened up one instance and then tried to run it over and over on that instance. So it didn't have time to even play the sound because it was just working on that one window.
So I think if you wanted to get that to work, I think you would want to start, like you would want a placeholder, right? And then a start groove, and then a play file, and then a loop back, right?
Should be fun.
And I think that'll keep opening new windows, but I'm not totally sure of that. I suspect it will. The start command actually executes the kind of, well, really the brains of that program, right? Every time you run that start command. So I suspect it'll keep opening new ones. What's up?
I was going to say with that, there's actually an unprintable character that if you try to print it, does cause a pinging sound from the computer. So if you echo that, it could ping you, and then every time it echoes that, it pings.
That's awesome.
I figured that out.
Pretty very simple.
I figured that out on an accident. The way you do it is you have to take the integer, I think it's integer number 1, and turn it into a character, but not like as in like char equals, and then cast an integer into the character because it doesn't come out as 1.
Yeah, it comes out as the empty string.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, okay. Sure, that's awesome. It's very cool.
I figured that out on accident when I nearly crashed my own computer at home in the C class.
Nice. Cool. Let's see, anybody figure anything else out? Anybody have a different approach to this? No? Okay, cool. Good work.